Hey everybody, what is up and welcome back to the channel, and today I got a little bit of music news for you guys. So in case you guys have been living under a rock and not paying attention to what's going on in the music world, there's some pretty crazy things happening out there when it comes to music currently. So we're going to talk about it a little bit. So the first thing I want to talk about is Jon Bonjovi saved somebody from jumping off a bridge. If you guys didn't see that news clip, he was shooting a video of some sorts on a bridge in Nashville, and he noticed a woman that had climbed over the railing, and she looked like she was getting ready to jump off the bridge. And so he walked over there casually, ended up talking to her and talked her back over the railing and actually saved her life, which is a pretty cool thing, considering that would really suck that he's filming a video and somebody in the background would have leaped off the bridge to kill himself. And it would suck for her too, because she'd have died. But that's a scary thing. It's scary to think that people are at such a bad place in their life that they're willing to do stuff like that and commit suicide. Because I'll say this from the get-go, suicide is bad all the way around. It's not a good thing. And if you know anybody that's in that mental headspace that thinks they need to kill themselves, please step in and try to get them some help, because the world's not over. And the world can be really bad, but it's not bad enough that you need to kill yourself. And suicide is really bad. So get help if you need it. Don't do it. It's not worth it, because not only is it just a bad and horrible thing and tragic for somebody to feel that they have no other alternative except to kill themselves, but it's tragic for the people that are left behind, because when that happens, you leave all this stuff behind between hurting all the people that loved you and taking your life, and to leave all that pain and hurt behind as you go away, and leave them to deal with picking up the pieces, and that's just it's just bad all the way around. So thank goodness he was able to do that and able to save that person. And I'm probably going to talk a little bit more about this a little bit more in the video when we cover something else. But yeah, it's not a good thing. I'm glad he was able to notice that and actually help that person. Hopefully that person's okay. So we're going to move on from that. And now we're going to talk about something that I just thought was crazy when I saw the video. Jane's Addiction was back out on tour playing and stuff. And their lead singer literally got in a fight with the rest of the band members. He actually walked over and assaulted Dave Navarro on stage, and then proceeded to get into it with, I think, their bass player on stage. The video was crazy. If I can get a clip, I'll post it up here. If I can get a clip for you guys. If not, I'll just get a frame shot for you, hopefully, and it'll be up in the corner somewhere. But it was nuts. And then it turns out the reason why he supposedly was upset is because he felt like the instruments were drowning out his vocals. But why would you assault your guitar player if your vocals aren't pushed up high enough? Because that's the sound guy's responsibility. The guitar player, bass player, and drummer that are on stage have no control over the volume that's being put out on stage. All right, and that's what he initially said. Well, it turns out there's a little more to that. It turns out dude's still got a drug problem, got major issues, and that was part of the issue, is that he was fucked up on stage, excuse my language, but he was high and whatever else he was doing, and he just lost his shit and decided to assault Dave Navarro, and they got into it, and then the bass player took him down, and then he went off backstage, blah, 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 and then he came out with some stupid statement and everything else. It's ridiculous, but now Jane's Addiction has canceled the rest of their tour. That's over and done with, and it just goes to show people, don't do drugs. Don't do drugs, because it'll ruin everything. So stay away from that crap, Just stay away from it. But it is an entertaining video to watch. So if you guys haven't seen that, go check it out on YouTube, because it's kind of funny, because the dude just screams and goes nuts and then assaults Dave Navarro. And Dave actually handled it really well. I'll tell you, Dave handled it really well. He didn't do anything to the guy. He didn't even understand why he was doing what he was doing. You can tell he's like, what are you doing? And he just tried to back him off. So Dave did really well, because if he'd have done what he did to me and then jammed me with his shoulder and then hit me, I'd have taken my guitar off and used it like a baseball bat and brained his ass. But that's just me. Anyway, moving on from that. Whoa, I can't talk. Moving on from that, if you guys have really been living under a rock, then you guys haven't heard, or you should have heard, that Linkin Park has now gotten back together, which I thought was a pretty cool thing, because I always liked Linkin Park. Started listening to them in the early 2000s when a friend of mine introduced me to their music. Was doing a lot of snowmobiling and stuff back then out in Wyoming. And Used to watch these videos called Sledneck videos. If anybody's seen those, shout out to those guys. Those videos were awesome. Those guys were some extreme snowmobilers, did some crazy cool stuff, and got me to do some crazy stuff too while I was listening to Linkin Park. So anyway, that's kind of my background on how I got introduced to Linkin Park. But they're back together, and they have a new female singer, and this has caused a shit ton of controversy, because you got one group that's happy that Linkin Park's back because everybody likes Linkin Park's music, and then you got the diehard Chester Bennington people that hate this and think that they're trying to somehow erase or trash Chester Bennington's legacy, which is just utterly ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous, because that is not what they're trying to do. So I'm going to explain something to you people out there that can't wrap your little brains around this, but Chester Bennington was not a solo artist. He was part of a band. The band is called Linkin Park. A band consists of more than one person. So to sit there and think that it's not okay for the rest of the band to move on when their lead vocalist committed suicide and killed himself is ridiculous, okay? Now, Chester Bennington committing suicide is a bad thing, and suicide is bad. And I said it earlier in the video, if you were thinking about that or you know somebody like that, get them help, because they need to get the help they need, because it's not okay. And Chester Bennington was a talent. He was amazing on stage, and with Linkin Park, he was awesome, and it was great to have him. We'd still love to have him today. I love their music. I loved his voice. It was great. But you guys out there can't sit there and expect the rest of the band who is left behind to deal with the fact that he killed himself and he's gone. You can't expect them to just quit playing music. That's not fair to them. There's a whole bunch of people involved, not just Chester Bennington. He wasn't the only member of the band. And it's not okay for people out there to say, hey, they can't keep moving on as musicians or as Linkin Park because this man chose to leave this world, okay? That's the reality of it. He chose to leave. He chose to bail on everybody, however you want to call it. To me, it's bailing. I personally think committing suicide is a cop-out. You may not like that, but it is. It's the easy way out. Yeah, life is hard. Life sucks. Life throws you a lot of curveballs. I've had tons of them thrown at me, my ears. I've literally gone from one extreme to the other. I actually have had to live underneath a pier in Florida and stuff because I lost everything, and I had to sit there and I'd get up and go to work and hide my stuff in the sand every day, and I'd go to work until I made enough money to get myself a place and get back on my feet. So I know what it's like to have hardships, okay? But it still doesn't, it's unacceptable that you decide to check out and do that and then leave everybody else behind to deal with the aftermath of that, okay? That's not fair to the people you left behind. And if you really love people and care about the people you're with, you're not going to do that. And that's my personal opinion. It's probably going to piss a bunch of people off. I really don't care, all right? I think it's a horrible thing. I think it's sad that he did that. I think it's sad that he felt he had nowhere else to turn other than to do that. I think it's sad for anybody that commits suicide, that they think that's their last resort, all right? I truly think it, and I think if anybody's out there thinking it, please go get help. I do that. But in the same aspect, to me, it really is, it's a cop-out, and you're leaving everybody else behind to pick up the pieces. But for all you people out there to think that it's not okay for the band to keep moving forward and keep being a band because he did this, is not okay. It's not fair to the rest of the people that are left behind. These are all musicians. They have careers too. The band was theirs too. It wasn't just Chester's band. And people got to stop thinking of it that way. That's, Chester Bennington. There's a whole bunch of other people involved in that. And it's not fair, you know. And now they got this new female singer, and there's controversy around her as well. I've read some of it online, you know, and blah, 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 but she's already talked about that. She's put statements out. She's already explained her position, you know, and stuff. She's even, you know, supported people, you know, in that whole situation. If you guys want to know what the situation is, go look, because I'm not going to talk about it here and stuff. I think that I watched their whole live performance, that the first one they did when they came back, and I thought she did a great job. No, she's not Chester Bennington. She's not going to sound like Chester Bennington. She's a female, but she did a good job, and I feel that she does a good job representing those songs. And they're not trying to replace Chester. Everybody's like, oh, they replaced Chester. No, they didn't replace Chester. Chester killed himself. Chester killed himself. He's dead, okay? He died. All right, so they got a new singer. They're not replacing the man. They just got a new singer so they could move forward in their music careers, because they all have lives and stuff, and they're still here. And there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to still play and still be able to play the songs that they created this legacy with of Linkin Park. And anybody that thinks that that's not okay, go get fucked. Because you're an idiot, you know, and that's not how it works, you know. If you own a business and your business partner dies, that doesn't mean you can't keep the business going, all right? And the music industry is a business. And these guys are musicians and want to keep creating songs. They're releasing a new album with this new singer and coming out, yet they're doing the old stuff, and they're doing the old stuff so they can honor Chester. Unlike what you people think, they're actually honoring him by playing those things. But other people saying that she shouldn't have the right to sing those songs, that's stupid, utterly ridiculous, and dumb. Because the whole band wrote the songs, not just Chester. The whole band was involved in the process of creating that music. So they have just as much right as to play those songs as Chester did, and they have a new singer so they can sing the songs and play those songs that they all were involved in creating. And that's how the music industry works. And if you don't like it, then don't go watch their new stuff and don't go check them out. But do us all a favor and shut the fuck up. Because nobody gives a shit about you and your stupid dumbass opinions thinking, oh, they shouldn't be able to do that. That's literally fucking ridiculous, okay? All right? Chester was a great talent. He was a great musician, huge impact on the music industry, and we all acknowledge that and stuff. And everybody misses him. Of course you do. Of course you want the original singer. Of course you want the original guy. But you know what? Chester checked out. He not only checked out on the band, he checked out on all you as fans. Okay? Whether you like that or not, that's the reality of it. He may have had struggles. He may have had problems. He may have had issues. Blah, 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 blah. We all have that shit. Okay? Everybody has those kind of issues or some kind of issues in their lives, but he chose to say that he couldn't handle it anymore, and he checked out. He checked out on the band. He checked out on you as a fan, okay? And does it suck? Sure it does. Does it suck that he had those problems? It does. Does it suck that somebody wasn't able to help him through it so he didn't do that? It does, okay? I'm not trying to bash the man at all because I thought he was an amazing talent. But I'm pointing out the reality of the situation. You guys are all like, Chester, Chester, Chester. Well, guess what? Chester checked out on you. All right? And the rest of the band didn't. The rest of the band is still here. The rest of the band is trying to move forward. And they're trying to create new Linkin Park music for you guys to hear because we all loved it. All right? The first song that I heard that's off their album, I thought was pretty good. All right? Whether you like it or not, that's fine. You don't have to like it. There's going to be likers and haters. But I just wanted to address this. I wasn't even going to talk about this topic because I don't really like to get into this stuff. But I'm so tired of this blah, blah, blah. And I'm also tired of people glorifying famous people when they do terrible shit, like commit suicide. All right? Because all that does is take the next person that really thought that this was a light for them. And they're like, oh, well, he couldn't handle life either. So, and it makes other people want to go do what he did and commit suicide, which is not okay. We got to change this cycle. We got to change this cycle and stuff when it comes to the people that we for a better like term, idolize when it comes to this stuff. Because you're idolizing people that end up doing something like committing suicide or overdose on drugs or whatever it is. And then it gives out this whole impression that, well, if they couldn't handle it and they're at this level and they couldn't handle it, well, then what am I going to do at this lowly level here out here? And that's not okay. You need to start looking up to people. When you look up to somebody, you need to look up to somebody that's actually putting out good values and good stuff and stuff. And I'm not saying they didn't, because Linkin Park just changed a whole generation of music. But in the same aspect, it had a tragic end there because Chester committed suicide, you know, which really sucks because everybody, you know, is like, holy cow, holy cow, holy cow, you know. And we've had tons of musicians over the years do that. And we need to start calling it out for what it is instead of being like, you know, this woe is me crap, you know, because we're not helping the next generation to see that you can overcome these hardships, all right? And what we need as people that we look up to is people that when they are thrown that curveball or that hard lesson, how they overcame it and kept moving forward instead of giving up and quitting, all right? And that's the part that sucks about this whole thing, you know. And I'm sorry I'm going on a rant, but I've been watching these things pop up and seeing Chester's mom says something. Well, from what I understand, Chester wrote a song that was about his mom and the abuse that she did. So who gives a shit about what his mom says? And the band shouldn't have to consult him or his brother, who's or son or whatever it is, brother, son, and stuff, who's a complete idiot as well, and they don't have to consult them to do anything. It's their band. It's not the mom's band. It's not the son's band. And obviously the son's a turd and the mom's a turd as well. So who wants to consult with that, you know? They made decisions as a band. They made a decision as a whole. And they're back and they're doing this with this female singer named Emily something or whatever, you know? And I think it's cool. I like Linkin Park. I'm excited to hear more of the new songs and stuff. I think she did a great job. I watched that whole concert, like I said. And I think she did a great job doing the songs, you know, and it was an interesting twist on it. Is it Chester? No, it's not Chester. No, it's not. But it was good, you know. And if you guys want some Linkin Park, then this is what you're going to get. And if you don't like it and you want to stay diehard Chester and you're going to hate on Linkin Park for moving forward, then you feel free to go crawl in your hole and be a miserable little shit and do that, while the rest of us actually enjoy the new stuff that they're going to put out, because we actually can appreciate the fact that they're stepping back out and trying to move forward as a band. You know, and they're still trying to honor him in their shows and what they're doing and stuff, but they are going to move forward, and you need to get the fuck over it. So anyway, that's my rant. That's the news. I'm sure my comments are going to blow up in the comment section and people are going to hate on me for what I said, but I'm just being honest and real with you about this stuff, instead of living in some stupid fantasy land like everybody is in this world today. It's fucking ridiculous that everybody is so butthurt about everything that happens. You can't do anything without somebody being offended. You know, get over it, people. Life is gonna move on whether you're offended or not. All right, that's all I got for you guys. We'll see you guys on the next one.